Dozens of demonstrators are here on the grounds of the state capitol right now. You can see them all linking hands, many of them holding Hawaiian flags. Some of them even have makeshift signs stating their opposition to the 30-meter telescope. And many of them were actually upstairs in the governor's office with me, stating just a few minutes ago, right after he addressed the media. Now, Governor David Ige says he signed an emergency proclamation this afternoon for the situation on Mauna Kea because he says since Monday, protesters have illegally occupied the roads and the highways, which he says is making it an unsafe situation. Now, he says law enforcement has been patient and respectful toward the activists, but he says the activists continue to break the law and put the safety of the public at risk.
The number of protesters have swelled, and their blockage of roads and highways creates a dangerous situation. This affects the ability of first responders to address emergencies, disrupts the public's ability to move freely and safely.
Now, the emergency proclamation says the activists have shown up in an overwhelmingly amount of numbers, and law enforcement there is unable to control them. Now, it also allows the National Guard to assist in evacuating people from the areas on and around the mountain. Now, Governor Ige says the emergency proclamation also gives law enforcement more flexibility. It gives them more authority to close off areas and restrict access on Mauna Kea, and it allows them to be able to manage access to the construction site in a better way. Now, back here live at the state Capitol, as I mentioned, a bunch of these activists behind me, these Native Hawaiian activists, were sitting in Governor David Ige's office right after the news conference, singing and chanting, just as they're doing right now, expressing their feelings about the project, and you'll hear from them coming up on KGMB at 6 o'clock. For now, we're live at the state capitol. I'm Chelsea Davis for Hawaii News Now.
Okay, thank you very much, Chelsea. Also here on Oahu, TMT opponents here took their fight to the highways. You can see a group of vehicles caused a major slowdown on the H1 this afternoon. Protesters drove side by side well below the speed limit, blocking drivers from getting around them. HPD says 4 citations were issued for obstruction. Well, those protesters eventually made their way down to the airport. The caravan driving through the departure and arrival areas, some flying sovereignty and Hawaiian flags upside down. No word on if the movement caused any disruption of airport operations.
And that driving protest reportedly began with a rally at UH Manoa, where telescope opponents, including students and staff, called for President David Lassner's resignation. About 150 people gathered outside Bachman Hall this afternoon with signs and Hawaiian flags as performers danced hula, sang songs, and chanted. While some opponents say they have compassion for Lassner and understand he's in a difficult position, others condemn the university for supporting the TMT.
The actions are despicable. It's disgusting. You don't arrest people in the name of research. It's unprincipled. You continue mediation, you continue negotiation.
I'm proud of the fact that our students and faculty are standing up for what they believe in. I will continue to do all I can to keep everyone, our students, our faculty, our staff, and the community, and the law enforcement officers who are many of your families as well, I'm sure. I want nothing more than for everyone to be safe.
Lassner says this was a hard day for everyone, but that the university is obligated to uphold the law and move forward with the project. Opponents also took their message to the Department of Land and Natural Resources.
We have shared our mana'o, we have expressed our frustration with the system, and obviously the system doesn't work for Native Hawaiians. There's no respect, there's no value to our sacred sites.
TMT opponents say they spoke with DLNR Chair Suzanne Case this morning after learning that Doe Care officers would be the ones conducting arrests on the mountain today.
And on Kauai, county officials there held a listening session for those wanting to express their concerns about the 30-meter telescope this afternoon. Both the mayor and police chief were there to hear residents voice their opinions. Our coverage of the conflict on Mauna Kea continues at 5:30 on KHNL and K5, again with live updates from the Big Island. And we will have live streams of any urgent and breaking news in between newscasts on our website, on Facebook, and on our mobile app.
A shooting that reportedly stemmed from a road rage incident shut down a portion of the H1 this afternoon. The Punch Bowl on-ramp is still closed heading westbound. EMS says a 20-year-old man suffered multiple gunshot wounds and went to the hospital in serious condition. Sources say the victim was hit in the ankle and buttocks. So far, there have been no arrests. On Maui, police arrested a man suspected of starting the wildfire that burned more than 9,000 acres last week. Officers arrested 28-year-old Holden Bingham Monday night on suspicion of first-degree arson. Police released him pending further investigation on the arson arrest, but he's still being held on unrelated arrest warrants. Meantime, today, Maui firefighters were called to another brush fire in Kahului. It sparked near the Maui Humane Society. No word if any structures are now threatened. We'll keep monitoring this situation and bring you any new information on air and online as we get it.
The Honolulu Ethics Commission says it wants to set the record straight about its handling of the Kealoha investigation. The commission has been heavily criticized for interfering with former Executive Director Chuck Tottle's investigation into ex-Honolulu Police Chief Louis Kealoha and his wife, former Deputy Prosecutor Catherine Kealoha. Commission Chair Victoria Mark says Tottle's resignation had nothing to do with the Kealohas, but Tottle says he was forced out.
The former executive director of the commission voluntarily resigned from the commission, and that had absolutely nothing to do with the Kealohas. There's been a good deal of misinformation, and we'd like to present the facts as we know them.
The chair mentioned that the Kealohas had nothing to do with my resignation. Well, that's not quite true. They didn't do anything directly. I would assume they didn't say kick Chuck Tottle out of the, make life miserable enough so he'll want to resign.
Meanwhile, the commission says it's still investigating 2 ethics complaints against the Kealohas. Tottle says those investigations are now 5 years old.
So that was a big red flag right there.
A new scam targeting customers of a popular online travel company. The warning from the Better Business Bureau. Plus,
we believe in the integrity of the program.
A nonprofit that helps youth needs help. We'll tell you what's at stake coming up next. But first, let's check with Ben on weather. Hey, Ben.
Hey, thanks very much. Kahului got up to 89 degrees today, and it's the first day below 90 since June 20th. But more heat is on the way. I'll have your summertime forecast coming up.
Travel company Expedia is warning customers about refund scams that's cost members thousands of dollars. The Better Business Bureau says imposters call customers and tell them Expedia's website is down and that they'll need to buy gift cards to receive a refund.
Expedia or any company is not going to ask you to make a purchase for you to get your refund, let alone give you your refund on that gift card. So that was a big red flag right there.
Other things to keep in mind, head straight to Expedia's website for their contact information. Log into your account whenever you change reservations and never give out personal information over the phone.
A Kalihi nonprofit that mentors youth through bike repair is up against a deadline and needs to find more funding. Jim Mendoza reports.
In an old building in Kalihi Valley, youth, mainly from the Kalihi area, repair broken bicycles, but they're really learning life lessons.
The program that we're doing, although it's bikes, it's mental health.
This is the Kalihi Valley Instructional Bike Exchange, or K-Vibe, a mentoring center for young men and boys.
We believe that they come as they are, we love them as they are, and we hope that they can love other people as they are too.
The bike building is a tool to guide participants toward community leadership through learning about setting goals and working with others.
It makes me feel like I know what I am, and I'm proud of who I am.
But vital grant funding for K-Vibe is nearing its end. The nonprofit needs other sources for long-term support. It takes about $200,000 a year to staff and operate the program.
I believe if the community or if Oahu or Hawaii itself knows about us, there will be really kind hearts out there that might want to support something like this.
K-Vibe estimates it's helped more than 900 youth since it started.
We can be out on the street sometimes, but with K-Vibe, we get connected to the community.
I'm kind of grateful to them because they made me what they call the best version of myself.
Stable long-term funding would enable K-Vibe to expand and maybe start up in other communities.
We believe in the integrity of the program.
To find out more about the nonprofit and its needs, go to our website, HawaiiNewsNow.com. Jim Mendoza, Hawaii News Now.
Ben Gutierrez is coming up next with weather. Here's a live look. But first, let's find out what's coming up new at 5:30.
Honolulu's mayor sheds a light on going green, why he's sharing his city's blueprint here on Capitol Hill, and why only Democrats are hearing it.
Aloha. You know, there's no shortage of data that proves Hawaii's cost of housing is impossibly high. But a recent study paints a chilling picture by putting together the cost of renting a basic two-bedroom apartment and the income needed to afford it. It showed that the affordability gap here is wider than any other state, and Honolulu has a bigger deficit than any other city in America. Now, the wage and housing gap causing unmeasurable strain on families and cripples a business's ability to recruit the employees key to innovation and growth of our economy. Now, sadly, there's another gap between urgency of this crisis and
Tita. You guys know who this Tita is? Oh, but she gave you with us. Of course, bro. This is one pretty unique. Yeah.
We got you.
Love you.
We got you.
We love you, sis. She says she's not gonna move. This Tita said she's not gonna move, yeah. Mana wahine, nana ike ia kanaka nei. Mahalo ya oi. Mahalo ya oi, Tita. Aloha nui ya oi. This is what our people are faced with, all this fear and all this scare tactics. All this paramilitarization of our secret places, bro. And look at our mana wahine. Right here. This is her hale. This is what she lived. Fuck yeah. Bro, unreal. Unreal sacrifices. Yeah.
Blessings to your ancestors and kupuna.
Yep. That's one blessed child right there of a kua. Wow. Mahalo kia kua, sis. Okay, looks like we got an EMS coming out, emergency vehicle. Trying to figure out, get some details. Mahalo to this tita. We love you. As you can see, this is not about skin color. This is not about, right? This is about aloha. This is about aloha, Aina. Scraping the drive shaft, cuz. Oh.
Okay, let me. Can I introduce? Come on, please.
I'm independent Hawaiian media.
No,
So ask
no,
her to come.
I'm Kanao Kana, Korean.
And Andre, and I'm with Kanao Kana. We already got the passport.
Oh, good. At least you made it. Yeah, thank you.
Can you make sure that you're Andre?
So these guys, Hawaiian Independent Media, they with us. Yeah, him, her. Yeah.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah. We know you're doing a good
Mahalo, you're
job.
doing a good job.
We're just trying to make sure our story is told.
You know what? I'm gonna give them one secret password, and you guys just tell them that after. We work it out tonight. The secret password is Kue. No. Quietly.
They're gonna grab you. That's what it is. They're gonna grab you. You're gonna get grabbed today. Today is a grabbing day. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's unstoppable grabbing. Well, that's up to you, but me, I'm gonna walk. I know like I'm carrying me, I can walk. But it's up to you. If you let you carry that, you guys are obedient. But I just like them come down. I know like them come one at a time. But if you guys gonna start grabbing everybody, it's gonna be chaos. It's like about chaos. And you guys don't care around the sprints anymore. Take it easy now, take it easy, okay? I'm gonna talk to the police. We're slow and easy. But that's it now. So that's what I mean. If you gonna make any guy, you know when you're in the water, no splash when it's up. It's smooth. Okay. I'm going to talk to the police now. You talk to them? Yeah. You talk to them. They know you. Yeah, they didn't look at you.
You know, if you ever bring me in the circle so you could get arrested. Loves the parts of the wisdom board, like earth-shaking chant. But the people were all society representative.
Is that we live here. This is our land. The road that you're on is Hawaiian Homestead Road. This belongs to me. I am a beneficiary. And yet we're getting arrested on the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. Please put that in your minutes. This is not a public road. It belongs to the beneficiary of the Hawaiian Homestead. But we're getting arrested. So actually, in actuality, they're trespassing on our land. But if we're going to get arrested, we're really in difficulty. I don't know why. I don't know what the charges will be. But it's trespassing on our land. It's ridiculous, don't you think so?
And for people who don't think that, for people who don't understand, who aren't from here or who don't
because in Hawaii, it's very expensive because the big corporation taking over, and we have a lot of not homeless people, it's houseless people because they cannot afford to pay the rent to pay the bills. There's no living here. You need a lot of money. So we're trying to fight for a future that kids and their kids to be happy and they can run around the grass in the mountains.
Desecrating our
We got only one tree down the road.
They're going to be where is the
Always like that.
when is
One
it
tree.
going to it's all
Office
money
stuff, downtown.
money and we might live with a lot. We don't have to be rich. Our island supplies
If you're blocking Kupuna like that, it's very disrespectful. Okay? If you guys got a whatever, sit back. Okay? This guy over here.
Just trying to get a little audio, that's all.
It's about to go down. All the cops back there are getting staged and ready. And they have about 10 paddy wagons back there. Uncle Walter.
Hey guys, you guys gotta back up behind the tent.
Carry on.
You want to get escorted out.
They would have a hard time carrying me. I'm not light. I keep telling them.
Well, back in the old days, didn't they carry the queens around?
Yeah, I get it.
Every queen's want to get carried out if they're going to arrest us. Carry us out like the queens we are. Come on.
Show us your favorite finger, Uncle.
Hey, double red, no?
Let the world know and let everybody in Hawaii know. Touch ang kupuna. What is our kuleana then as makua and as Rufio? We go defend our kupuna. However you can from all over the Pai Aina. Those calls have been made. This is what they're willing to do to our people, what they're willing to do to our elders, to be able to get, to allow their foreign companies, to allow the desecration of conservation, the desecration of our sacred. They will continue, and this desecration upon our sacred elders, our wisdom keepers, those who have kept this mo'olelos alive for us and continue to be the examples for us to be Kanaka today. We've met many of those in this line right now. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a lot of us. We wouldn't have our olelo Hawaii today. We wouldn't have all of our cultural practices because of many of these individuals in this line today. So for all of us Kanaka Maoli, for all of us students of Mea Hawaii, here's the prime example. We gotta walk it. We gotta live it all the way. It's not just for the class, not just for the job, not just for that. We is Kanaka Maoli to the core, and that the foundation of that. And I know if anybody, Tipua Kanehele, she was one that has inspired me from long ago. I remember hearing her words and hearing her oli for the Mauna. Now she spoke of the akua of this Mauna. And that has opened a lot of our minds to the concept of the makabalu and understanding that our culture is deep. It is not just what they like to share. It's fairy tales or superstition. Our culture and tradition is deeply scientific. It's such deep in layers of knowledge that we're waiting for the Western world to catch up. Waiting for them to wake up to understanding the depth of connection and understanding and learning. These are the wisdom keepers that have kept those doors open for us to reopen those doors again, to keep them wide open for more of our generations to come. So an assault upon our kupuna, as they stand here in defense of the high kupuna of Mauna Kea. Let this be a foundational shaker for all people around the world. For all of our people, for sure, for all Kanaka Maoli. This is our time. It's time to reclaim our kuleana as kia'i aina, as stewards of the aina. For me, I would never say this is my land or this is Hawaiian, belongs to Hawaiians. We belong to this land. We were born of this land, from this mountain. This is our mama. So that when we say that this is our land, it's like this is my grandma. This is my tutu. It does not belong to us. We belong to them. It's our kuleana now, as we've seen the continued desecration of this land and negligence on behalf of the University of Hawaii. I want to call that out again right now too. A lot of members here have worked for university because we believe in education. But the corruption within the University of Hawaii to allow such construction projects, such blatant disrespect for law, blatant disrespect for our cultural traditions and religion and spirituality and cultural concepts and practices of our Wahipana, of our moku, of our Hawaii. They are truly one of the main hana inu peeps in this whole thing. The University of Hawaii, because of their greedy hand, from the time they got hold of this mountain, all that they have done with this mountain is pursue financial gain. That is all that they have done. They have given hardly anything back to Mauna Kea. 11,000 acres of conservation land. Where is the forest? Where is the restoration of the forest? How much have they put toward this one particular science of astronomy, of large-scale, large telescope construction onto this conservation land, onto this Wahipan, these sacred lands? How much have they put and invested into that? And yet the mountain is still neglected. Mauna Kea, from the forest of Ahau, that is the kupuna. So today is for all those kupuna. We honor kupuna.
say something to your
What about?
Show the